Here is my brand new 2024 Tesla Model 3 long range. And in today's video, I'm going to be covering whether you should be buying just the long range rear wheel drive, this long range all wheel drive, or the performance version. And if you guys are new to the channel, my name is Jason and I do reviews on vehicles here in Canada. And I also cover the ownership experience of my Tesla Model 3. So if you're interested in either one of those videos, be sure to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. And just a quick note, if you're in Canada and you want $1,300 off your brand new Tesla, then be sure to click the link in the bio because it's also going to give me $650 in Tesla credits and it's going to benefit you as well. And just a quick shout out to, hopefully I'm saying this right, Danilo. They got $1,300 off of their Tesla. And I have about 9 of these left, so if you do want to use it, hit the link in the bio. With that being said, let me go over the 3 different trim levels that are available with the new Tesla Model 3 and which I think is worth buying and which is not. So when these first came on the market here in North America, you could only get either the standard range rear wheel drive or this one, which is the long range all wheel drive. And at that time, the performance version was not introduced. However, it is now. And well, if this is your first Tesla Model 3, you may be confused as which one you should get. So let's talk about the first trim that's available, which is the long range rear wheel drive. Yes, on that one, you do get a little bit more range than this one right here. However, that is a rear wheel drive. But from what I've seen and what I've heard from other rear wheel drive owners is that even in wintertime, it's not all that bad just because of how heavy these vehicles are. So you're definitely gonna stay planted. And you've also got the slip start option to enable it. So if you are stuck or anything like that, you can enable it and it'll get you out of tough situations. And then the second one that's available is this one right here, which is the long range all wheel drive. You do get a decent amount of range in this and hence that's why I got this. Plus it is all wheel drive and you do get 17 speakers inside the cabin. Whereas with the rear wheel drive, you only get the 9 speakers. Now I haven't sat in a rear wheel drive and tested out the speakers, but I can tell you once you get used to the 17 speakers, I don't think you're gonna be going back or to any other vehicle because these sound very, very nice. And then is the performance version. It's exactly like this. However, in the front, the bumper is slightly different and you do get the 20-inch wheels instead of the 18, which are standard. And then also you get the carbon fiber spoiler and the performance badge at the back there. And then like here, you see the bumper. It still looks very, very nice just on the performance. You have like a little arrow cut out there on both of the sides. So it gives it that little bit more aggressive look. Now, the reason I think that you should go with a long range all-wheel drive compared to just the rear wheel drive or the performance, for me, it made sense because not only do I have an all-wheel drive vehicle, I get more range. Well, right now, slightly less than the long range rear wheel drive. But when I first got it, compared to the standard one, this was more obviously. And then of course, the speakers inside. Now, with the performance, I was thinking about waiting for that one. Now here's where it did not make sense for me to go for the performance. Yes, it is much faster than this. Better wheels, a little bit of a better bumper area, and you get the factory carbon fiber spoiler, and of course the performance badge at the back. Now with that, compared to the long range mileage or the kilometers, it is quite a bit less. And even with those, you are charging them to 80% on daily commuting other than your long road trips, which is to 100%. So if I'm dailying a car and I'm only charging it to 80% daily, I know I'm going to be pushing that car. It is a performance car. So my range, especially in wintertime as well, it is going to be less than this vehicle. And don't get me wrong, the long range is very, very quick and very fast. I just love the vehicle and just the way that it handles. For me personally, it didn't make sense to upgrade to a much quicker vehicle because let's face it, where am I going to race the vehicle here on local roads? There's no point in doing that, obviously, unless you're going to the drag strip every single weekend and you're just pushing the thing to the limit. I wasn't gonna go ahead and do that, so I opted out for the long range. And I think most people are gonna go for the long range here, as opposed to jumping up in price where you get the performance. And even with that, you don't get the tax credit here in Canada. With the long range rear wheel drive and this one, you do get the tax credit of $5,000. So there's that benefit as well to staying between the first 2 trims. For the Model 3, I think this is the perfect spec. Let me know in the comments down below, which spec do you think is worth buying? Do you think the all-wheel drive and the 17 speakers is worth the upgrade to the all-wheel drive? To me, it is. I don't know about you. So if you're someone who doesn't care about the range or price price, then take the performance and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. But remember, with bigger wheels, your efficiency won't be as great, and I'm guessing you still don't care because you're going for the performance. But if you're someone like me who wants the best features, and by best I mean like three main things, and that's the speakers, faster 0 to 100, and being all-wheel drive, along with getting the maximum range and efficiency, then I think the long-range all-wheel drive is the best bang for your buck. Now, many will say the long-range rear-wheel drive is a couple $1,000s less, and yes, it definitely is, and it's identical to the all-wheel drive minus the three things that I mentioned. At the end of the day, if spending a few $1,000s more for three more things is worth it to you, like myself, then go for it. Also keep in mind, if you live in an area where you have extreme winters, then the rear-wheel drive may not be suitable for that, and you may have to opt out for the all-wheel drive. And I think Tesla has done a great job separating the three trims, since it applies to basically anyone and everyone. Because if someone wants just the cheapest Model 3, they can get great range and get the rear wheel drive. If someone wants an all-around great car, then the all-wheel drive is there as well. Or if you just want to go crazy and spend the money, the performance is available too. So there's something for everyone. But before you even jump into buying a Model 3, I highly suggest you test drive both of them and kind of see the difference between the two. That way you kind of get a feel of, if you are going with this one right here and you're going to be spending a little bit more money, you'll at least have test driven both of the vehicles and be happy with it. So definitely go ahead and test drive both vehicles, compare them, and just see how they are and how they fit your budget. Yes, you can, overstretch and go to this one if you like, or the performance, and if this is going to be your very first EV, then I highly suggest test driving this and even comparing this to other EVs as well, because you'll get to feel each of the EVs out and kind of see what's out there in the market and comparing that to the Model 3, so you can make a wise decision on what makes the most sense for you. Because let's face it, Tesla does many things better than everyone else, so you'll notice that when you are comparing other vehicles, test driving them and whatnot. And at first, you may feel like the minimalistic interior is boring compared to the others with all of the buttons all over the place, but you do get over that once you do get used to it. And then when you do go back to a normal vehicle with all of the buttons, that will just become too much for you. But yeah, go ahead and compare every single EV out there before you make your purchase, because there's many people who just take the word from their family or friends and they just place an order and then after they regret it. So don't be that person after spending thousands of dollars on a vehicle and then not liking it. So make sure you do your due diligence and properly test each vehicle so that it fits your liking and you can make a purchase and be super happy. At the end of the day, I think this is a happy middle where majority of the people will be happy. I mean, let me know in the comments below. If you guys do have the new Model 3, which trim do you have? And let me know why you got it. Also, if you guys want to see more videos on this vehicle, just showcasing my personal experience of owning my first EV, and of course that being a Tesla. So be sure to subscribe to the channel and look out for the future videos, and even check out the previous videos that I've made, multiple videos on this car.